Iggy Ryangoma always had a passion for music, but that passion was erased by the horrors of the genocide in his native Rwanda. Now he's living in Ottawa, rebuilding his life and rediscovering his love of music. Lucy Van Olden-Barneveld tells us how.
Iggy Ryangoma makes the final technical touches for tonight's concert. The Magical Bunch is playing its first big gig, a fundraiser for a children's charity. Iggy offers last-minute suggestions. He may be the group's musical director, but at showtime, Iggy settles into the audience to watch as a proud and grateful father.
I don't know how to thank them, really, and that's what it's been.
Do they have any idea of what this is doing for you? Do they have any clue?
I don't think they do.
Coming back to music has been a long journey for Iggy. In 1994, Hutu extremists began killing hundreds of thousands of Tutsis and Hutu moderates in the Rwandan genocide.
They rounded us up and they just wanted to start shooting. As we were lying down, the guy started to arm his gun.
But at the last minute, the gunman spared his life. However, as a Hutu moderate, Iggy continued to be a target. The genocide began around the same time that Iggy found out he'd been accepted to the Berklee College of Music on a Fulbright scholarship. But his mind was a long way from the prestigious Boston school. He wasn't thinking about music now. He was focused on surviving the slaughter. He fled the capital with his family and headed to a refugee camp across the border in what is now the Democratic Republic of Congo.
We walked from Kigali.
Who did? Tell me about that.
It was me, my wife, and Christian. Was basically holding Christian on my chest.
Within weeks of arriving at the camp, Iggy met an American radio reporter who helped him reconnect with Berklee College. He soon boarded a plane for Boston and left the horrors of war behind him, or so he thought. Shortly after arriving in the United States, Iggy realized something wasn't right.
I felt this overwhelming sense of fear. There was a part of me that had not left the refugee camp, that had not left the war. And it was haunting me and taking over.
Although he didn't know it at the time, he was suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder.
The passion and the ability to connect with it and to actually put my strength and my energy behind the music I was writing completely dissipated.
He struggled with his demons for more than a decade, seeking help from psychiatrists. All the while, he continued to support his family, eventually ending up in Ottawa. His passion for music stayed dormant until last spring. That's when his eldest son, Christian, found his own connection with music. The baby Iggy carried in his arms as he fled Rwanda is now 14 years old and loves the guitar.
As I saw him practice and evolving very, very quickly, I realized that myself, I was starting to feel like this is what I have to focus on.
In fact, all of his children were showing an interest in the music he gave up, jazz. Christian on electric guitar, on bass, 12-year-old Christopher, who practices up to 6 hours a day, on drums, 10-year-old Victoria, and on keyboards, taking after Dad, is the youngest, 9-year-old Vestine. Within months of picking up their instruments, they became the Magical Bunch.
My dad taught me a lot of skills that he told me to practice. I like practicing. I don't really understand it. Very funny sometimes.
Yep, has funny stories every now and then, and he he shows you what you can do, and when you try and you kind of surprise yourself after a while.
Iggy was probably the most surprised of all.
What happened to me with these guys is that it's almost like the cure, like the magical cure that I would have been looking for, and it just came through these guys going, okay, yeah, here it is. We're giving it to you, and it's free.
Getting here hasn't been easy for Ignas. His return to music arrived unexpectedly, and he's glad to have his groove back.
It's some darkish nightmare that they just washed away by this little musical project. And well, it's magical. Yes.
Lucy Van Olden-Barneveld, CBC News, Ottawa.
And the magical bunch were touched by a little magic late last week. The kids were brought to a local music store believing they were going to meet a musician. In fact, they were there to pick up thousands of dollars worth of new musical instruments.
All this stuff.
What?
It's
Yes. That's ours? This is like sick, man. Seriously, I just got like 2 new guitars.
It really means a lot because I really wanted to play on a really professional drum set. So I'm happy.
With the help of our distribution company, Ericsson Audio, we were able to get them a large selection, a full drum kit, guitars, basses, PA system, and everything. And it's just another way to help out a really good cause.
Up until now, they have been borrowing and renting the instruments they needed.